see.
Corinne, I'm so excited to have you on the Pet Pig podcast. You and I have been Instagram friends for quite a few years now.
Uh-huh.
Um, as a fellow breeder, you have always supported me, and I've also tried to reciprocate that. I love what you do. There are very few breeders in this world that I trust, that I like, and you are one of them. So I'm really excited to talk to you today. So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm super excited to see what we get into today.
So the first thing I want to know is, have you always been an animal lover?
Absolutely. So crazy enough, my mother is not an animal lover at all, but she let me have everything under the sun growing up. So, I mean, I had hamsters and ferrets, and we always had multiple dogs and cats. And yes, I've always been surrounded by animals and love them for sure.
I'm jealous because my parents were not animal lovers and we had nothing. I had a couple fish once. That's about all I had growing up.
That's why you have a farm now. You're like,
Yeah,
I need it all.
exactly. I wanted all, my poor husband.
Yep. Well,
So, as I mentioned, you are a breeder, but you're more than a breeder of pet pigs. Tell me a little bit about your business. What is your business called? Where are you located? And what do you do?
yes. So I own Mulberry Meadow Farms in Southwest Michigan. We raise a variety of animals. Truthfully, this all started with a bunch of backyard chickens smack dab in the middle of the city, and I just fell in love with it. I've worked in vet med for many, many years, so I've have a lot of experience on the medical side of animals, and so after my chicken obsession started, we were like, we need land. So we saved up our pennies and we got our land, and then we filled it with a bunch of animals, and it just started to spiral into just this raising these animals and loving these animals. And so now we raise mini goats, we raise the mini pigs, AKC Great Pyrenees, rabbits. We've kind of got a little bit of everything here, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, you share so much on your page. I love it. I love people who are transparent about what they're doing. You show so much of the behind the scenes, interacting with their puppies and your piglets, and
It's so important because you can just post cute pictures all day, but there's a lot of cleaning. There's a lot
Mhm.
of what's that piggy over there doing? There's a lot, and so I do try to share as much as possible. I think that's fun.
I do too.
Yeah, you share a
So,
lot too, especially with your litters.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's, first of all, it's fun for us because we get to share, oh my gosh, we get to share the adorable things, the
What we
cute
do.
things. Yes.
Yeah.
And what we're passionate about. It's fun, but people also love it. I think about like a lot of people who follow my page send me messages that say things like, this is the best part of my day. I live in the city. I live through you with all your animals, and it's so exciting to watch these things. So that's
Hmm.
really cool that we can kind of connect to people in that way too.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So you raise pigs. You have a small, breeding program when it comes to pet pigs. So
Mhm.
what kind of pigs do you raise?
So I raise both Juliana mini pigs, and then I also raise American mini pigs. And we have about half and half of each. I have about 10 pigs. So
Okay.
we've got several Julianas and then several, the chipmunk American mini pigs is typically what we have, like little June bug.
Yes.
Mhm.
So for anybody who doesn't know, I just got a piglet from Corinne.
Yeah.
And because for my breeding program, first of all, I'm very careful who I'm going to get a pig from.
Right.
But you can't just raise your own when you only have so many because you don't want to get into inbreeding or anything like that. So we're both very careful when it comes to that.
Hmm.
So it's really interesting that you raise Julianas because I'm just going to be honest with you. I I have struggled to understand if a Juliana even exists.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm not sure if it's just where I was getting my information from. Um, you know, Online it is very uh what do I
Yeah,
want to say?
it can be a little scary online when you're starting to look into these things for sure. Um, I will say there's definitely a Juliana mini pig. Um, I raise both the American mini pigs and the Julianas, and I see differences in both personality, but it really comes down to conformation, looks, colors, that kind of thing. That really sets the Julianas apart from the American mini pigs. So a Juliana has a specific set of standards. So all Julianas are going to have these certain things about them. If they don't have these certain things about them, then they're likely mixed, which would just make them American mini pigs. That's really what American mini is kind of a combination of all the breeds, you know?
Right.
There can
Yeah.
be a dash of Juliana, a dash of potbelly.
Hmm.
You know, it's a mix and that's awesome. It's really comes down to color. So the standard for Juliana is going to always be a spotted pig. Okay, so they're always going to have spots. It's never going to be a complete coat of one color. You will never get an all pink piglet. You will never get an all black piglet. You'll never get the chipmunk stripings that you get with the American minis. It is going to be the base of the pig can vary. So you can get your gingers, you can get your whites, you can get your grays, but they will always have a spotted overcoat. The spot color can also be different as well. You can have rust spots, which are going to be a little bit gingery. You can have the black. Typically, you see the black spotted piglets, so those are going to be your Julianas. Um, their face is a lot different than the American minis. Like my American mini dad, Turbo, he is just this big old honcho guy, and he's such a sweetie. But he has a very different face than my Julianas. He's got a smushed in snout and he's got bigger jowls, where the Juliana's face is always going to be very slender.
Mm.
So they have a very slender snout, a long snout, and it would never be. Sometimes the American minis will be snubbed down. You know, it's going to be outright, and it's going to be substantially longer than the others. Julianas do tend to be smaller in stature, shorter legs, a little bit more tight, where the American minis or potbellies and stuff can be a little bit wider. All mini pigs I feel like are very long. They're longer
Yes.
than they are tall,
Hmm.
always. So that's something that you see with all the pigs, but they're just a little bit more athletic looking. The Julianas are
Hmm.
than your other breeds. Um, Now, when they do have a standard, which is a maximum of 17 inches tall. But I feel like most of the mini pigs are around that height as well. So that's
Yeah.
not a big difference between the two at all, and in my opinion.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, it goes to lifestyle and diet, though.
Right.
They could get taller if they're eating nonstop. You know, one of those things.
Yes. So why do you think that there's a lot of like what's the word? Why do you think there's a lot of like conflict that some people say there is a Juliana and some people say there isn't?
Honestly, I feel like it's just one of those arguments online where people are like, it's not real, it is real. I think there's been a big shift to try to put a blanket over all mini pigs to try to make them one breed, because it is hard to say what is and what isn't. My pigs are registered through the Juliana Pig Registry, and so it does give you more credibility on the pigs lines, because they come with a 7 generation background. So you know
Oh,
that, yeah, you know that for the past 7 generations, it's a Juliana pig. So that's just one of those things where the American Mini Pig Association doesn't have quite as much background on each pig, I don't believe.
right. No.
So there's a history. There's a history with the Juliana registry. So yeah, I'm not sure. I think there's just some confusion out there. So I'm
Hmm.
happy to shed some light that there is definitely two different ones. They both make amazing pets. They both are similar in size. I mean, if you want a pig as a pet, you got to be ready for all that comes with it. It shouldn't just be what they look like, you
Right.
know?
Yeah. Now, I know at least for my American mini pigs that uh, American mini pigs that that I have had in my life, they tend to be on the sassy side, right?
Mhm.
They're sassy. So is a Juliana, does it have pretty much the same like personality type that it's more on the sassy side? Like a coon is more laid back,
Laid
they're more
back, yes.
lazy. So a Juliana, which is it more like?
Um, my Julianas are very outgoing.
Mm,
So they are the type of pig that's gonna wanna go to the baseball games, gonna wanna go be active with people. Um, I feel like all pigs are sassy. Don't
yeah.
you? Truly, truly. They all have an opinion. So I
Yes.
think, yeah, my Julianas can have an opinion. Um, so can my American minis.
Yeah.
That's just, yeah, pigs have a lot of personality in that aspect.
Yeah. Definitely. We also have a Mangalitsa that's a pet on our farm.
Those
She's
are the big, beautiful with the curly hairs.
Yes, they have curly hair.
Yeah.
They're like a lot of people call them a sheep pig because from a distance they look like they have a curly wool.
Yeah.
Um, she is very docile, but I'll tell you what, that girl's sassy. And
She's
she's
bad.
big. She's big. She's at least 300 pounds, if not a little
Mhm.
more. But you're right. They're kind of all sassy. I mean, I do have two coonies. They're very loud and demandy when it comes to food, but other than that, they're not like anyone can touch them, right?
Yeah.
They're friendly, they're laid back, but
And yeah, the Julianas, like you just said, they are they demand food more
right.
than my American minis. They have a lot to say.
Okay.
They're very vocal, very vocal.
Okay.
Anytime I have litters of Julianas, I'm like, oh boy, they're talking. I can hear them on the cameras. I'm like, oh, they want me. So they are because they're very outgoing. I feel like,
Okay.
yeah,
That's really
yeah.
interesting. Okay. I guess I'd never heard that before. That's cool. Um,
But then again, we all know all pigs have a lot to say, but they
yes.
are very talkative.
And a lot of it so much is personality. I have some piglets in a litter that never quiet. And it's
Mhm.
not like they're squealing. It's like they're just constantly talking, right? They're
From
just
day one, too,
oinking.
right?
Right. Yeah. They're
Yes.
like vocal about everything. But then I have other ones who are just chill, laid back. They're not really loud.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's kinda like I tell people, my families, that e every single pig has a different personality, just like a puppy. You know, you have 10 puppies in a litter, every single one's gonna be different, and
Mhm.
they're the same in that, for
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah. So you have how many litters do you have a year just of your pigs?
We try to keep it between 3 and 4 litters a year. So about every season, we'll have a spring,
Mhm.
summer, fall, winter type deal, and that really helps us spend as much time as possible with each of our litters
Mhm.
because, like you mentioned, we have a lot of other animals. I try to seriously plan out my year a year in advance. I know Franny Mae's going to have babies in March. I know Dottie Mae's going to have her babies in August. So I can make sure that each litter has as much of me as possible.
Mhm.
So I definitely don't have a lot of litters. I have more female piggies than I do litters a year. So everybody gets a year break.
That's
Like
so nice.
they really enjoy it too.
Yeah.
They do.
My pigs, my female pigs and my male pigs, they they love the moms love to be moms.
Oh, they do.
They
They do.
love it so much. I mean, you can literally see the expression on their face, how happy they are. Yesterday, we just had a litter yesterday, and when we put, do you do this too? Like when piglets are born, you take them until the mom is done? Yeah, because pigs are
Unless
like,
the mama doesn't want me to, though. I have some mamas where it's better to let her do her thing. But yes,
really?
they get up a lot
Yeah,
when they're in labor, and it is
yeah.
safer to just kind of, if you can. keep them away for an hour, it is best
Yes.
for sure. Mhm.
Because pigs are notorious for laying on them. And if, like, when they're in labor, they can't really control their body because, it's out
A
of
lot
their
going
control.
on.
A
Yep.
lot. Yes.
Mhm.
So yesterday she was done. We put the piglets in with her, and the first thing she did was jump up and get right in their face. And like she's talking to them, she's giving them affection. Her body relaxes. It's like, okay, I'm ready. Bring them on. She just gives them all affection, like this little like hot panting that she does, like a ah, ah, ah,
Mhm.
ah.
So sweet.
It's the
And just
sweetest
to hear
thing.
them talk to the babies too. I mean, if if one comes near you and you go to grab it, she'll talk to them. She'll be
Yeah.
like, "Come back, come
Yep.
back." And
Uh-huh.
it's adorable. They have
I love it.
such a vast vocabulary that we don't understand that just every piglet knows. It's just wild.
It's incredible. And the
Mhm.
way she sings to them while they're nursing, I mean, it sometimes I really do like get choked up because just how precious it is and how much she loves those babies and how protective they are.
Yes, they can be. They can be. They love their babies, and piglets are, one of the only animals that constantly nurses. So I mean, they just lay with their babies and talk to them all day.
Mhm.
They really do.
Yeah, it's amazing, especially like in the first 2 weeks. And they
Mhm.
grow so fast. They get chubby.
Yes.
It's precious.
Yeah, those mamas have some good milk because they do. Those cheeks will start going at 2 weeks. I'm like, "Oh boy."
Yep. Yep. They're getting super chubby. Oh
Mhm.
man. Well, I'm glad you set me straight on the Juliana thing because I do think that that is something it's important. If I'm going to give information, it's important that it's correct.
Right.
So now I know a little bit more about what makes a pig a Juliana. And
Mhm.
it's really interesting that the registry has several generations. So,
Mhm.
okay, I just thought of another question. So let's say, there's some lady in Ohio who put on Facebook, she has Juliana pigs. Then what kind of questions can somebody ask to make sure that they actually, first of all, are Juliana? And second of all, um, no, I guess that's the only thing. How can they
Yeah.
know?
So, if they're not registered, then you can't be 100% positive.
Okay.
But if she said they were unregistered and they're Julianas, your first question would be to any pig breeder, how old are the parents? Because you
Yeah.
want to make sure that the parents are at least 3 years old and that they're responsibly breeding. So that's the first thing you ask. Then you ask them for photos. A breeder should be completely transparent when you're asking questions. I want to see the pictures of both parents, and you know if they're spotted and if they've got the long Juliana snout and they are within the parameters of size, then you could say that might be a Juliana. Most likely, it's got a dash of something else in it.
Mhm.
But that would be the best way to know.
Okay. And so if a mother is, let's say she's spotted,
Mhm.
then if the father is not spotted, then this piglet is part
Nope,
Juliana. It's not
possibly.
Juliana at all.
It could be half if the mom was true. Yes, but now, and that's another thing you just pointed out. If you have two spotted mom and dad, and you assume them both to be Julianas, and an all pink or an all black pop out,
Mm.
you know that they're mixed on some level. So my Juliana litters are always 100% spotted. I never get anything else. They're always spotted.
Okay. That
So
is so good to know.
yes, yes.
Okay.
But now, on the other hand, I have bred two American minis together and I've gotten all spotted. But it's not.
Right. Because you know the shape of the parents
Yes.
and you know their history, you know their background. So you know
I've got
they're not.
generations on mine. Yeah, and mine all have, you know, all the family lineage, which is super interesting. And something with my program that I think is really unique is that all of my females, besides two, are all family. So my original pig, Mama, her name was Mama. I have her three daughters, Darla, Paisley, Franny Mae, and then I have a daughter from each of them. So I already have three, four generations on my farm of my pigs. So I really love that too. So I know the
Oh,
personalities and yeah, it's fun.
that is cool. So, so you thought made me think of a question. So, how long have you been breeding pigs?
So I have been raising pigs for about 5 years.
Okay.
Yep. I got my pigs from a Julianna breeder that was retiring. So
Oh,
I had Mama and then two of her daughters already.
okay.
So I've kept them all. Mama and Darla, and some of them are all retired now, and they just are in the retirement pen, and they're old ladies living their life, and being spoiled as ever.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great.
So I've been breeding them for about 5 years.
So, how many boars do you have?
So I have three boars. I
Okay.
have Misfit is my registered Juliana boy. And then I have a younger boy that is going to be taking over his place. Misfit will be retiring at the ripe age of 8. He has had so many beautiful piglets. I
Oh,
thank him. He's going to be just living his life. He's going to miss the breeding days, though. I'll tell you that.
yeah.
But Chopper's my youngest boy coming up. He's almost 2. He's a registered Juliana. And then Turbo is my chipmunk American mini pig.
Okay.
Daddy Turbo. Anybody that has a baby from him loves him. Junebug's his daughter.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, I love her. She's
so
so
three
sweet.
boars to about 10 females.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Wow. So you have quite a few. I didn't realize you had that many females. That's a lot of pigs, but
Yes.
like you
3 are
said,
retired.
okay.
So those don't count. But yes, I
Right.
have all of those.
Right. But like you said, when you have more, then they're able to have such a long break in between. So that's so nice.
Yeah.
They're able
Yeah.
to just be a pig,
Hmm.
but then they're
I
able to
do
have,
miss coming because so I bring mine inside for their litters into the barn, and they have we call it the maternity ward, and so they do miss that because they get super spoiled. You know how it
yeah,
is with
I
your girls.
know. Yep.
I got a half a banana I didn't eat for breakfast. Oh, she gets it. They do miss that, but they love being together. I mean, pigs really do enjoy multiple pigs in an environment. They
They
are herd.
absolutely do.
Yes,
Absolutely.
like mine in our girls' pens, like they all sunbathe together. I mean, they love each other. So
Do you keep your boars together?
no,
Okay. Are they all individual?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
That's what I do
But
too.
I have they still see each other.
Right.
They just have one fence between them, so they can
Mhm.
touch noses, and they're not alone by any means. They still have companionship like
Mhm.
that. I don't know if anything. You can't keep intact males together. You can't really keep intact males as a pet. Period.
Right.
So it's just for safety. I
Right.
think they would be okay, but I would never risk anything.
I know. I had somebody tell me one time that if I put my boars together, right now they're both sweet and docile.
Mhm.
But if I put them together, that there would be so much competition that it would change their personality. And I never wanted to risk that.
I mean, hormones can drive them to do things. So
Right.
I feel the same way.
Yeah.
Um, Now I will tell you how it goes with Misfit because we're going to be getting him neutered because he's had his
Right.
babies. We're going to try to bond him with our neutered boy Hamlet. So we'll see how that goes. Because I wonder if it'll be a difference because he's had hormones his whole life.
Interesting. You'll have to let me know.
Yeah. Well, to
Yeah.
be continued.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe we can come back
And
in.
discuss how that
Yeah.
went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. I would love to know the answer to that.
I think we'll be good, but who knows?
Okay. Yeah. Because my oldest boar is 6. So, I mean, he's getting up there. He's not quite ready,
No.
but he's
But like we said, it gets to a point where you've kind of kept several of his daughters or you've kept
right.
his son and he's time to retire type
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah. Yes, we'll be doing that as well. Probably this year we'll be keeping some. To
Ah.
then June will have companions. She'll have friends that she can
Mm.
be with, and then we'll just bring them in the house when it's time for
Yes,
baby, but we've
yes.
got some time still. She's
For
still
sure.
just a baby.
For sure. It goes quick though. It
It
does.
You're right, it does, especially after COVID. Oh my goodness, I feel like time just flies.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, almost halfway through the year. Oh my
I
gosh.
know. I don't know how that happened.
No.
Oh gosh, Corinne, thank you so much for talking to me.
Yes.
It's always nice when I get to talk to you, and I
I
want to
think we
thank
had a
you.
great conversation. Yes.
Yeah, it's good, and it's good for people to know, especially the Juliana thing. It's
Mhm.
important. And I want to thank you because you've always been so supportive to me and so kind to me. So thank you for that. And I look forward to having a long friendship with you.
Back at yeah, I really appreciate it. Us piggy moms got to stick together.
I agree because so many are so mean.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And hey, we all just love our pigs and that's all it comes down to. We want the best for our pigs and you couldn't give a better life to them and I feel like I couldn't either. So,
I agree
yeah.
100%.